Rafa, get in here. I made a new meme. What is Gandalf?
I know more than you.
I read The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and The Silmarillion in elementary school, which was like 40 years ago. So I don't think I'm clear enough to determine by canon what Gandalf is and what he can fully do from the books. However, if I just cobble together some lore from the books and include the movies by Peter Jackson, I can try to come up with a build for what Gandalf would be in D&D 5e. So here goes. Gandalf was one of the Maiar, singular Maya, primordial spirits created to help the Valar first shape the world. They were numerous, though not many were named. 5 of these spirits in the Third Age became the incarnated wizards. Maiar, like Valar, did not array themselves in a fixed form, but could freely change shape. Olorin, or Gandalf, walked among the peoples of Middle-earth in an uncertain form for many years before being sent on the errand of the Valar as one of the Istari. Like the Valar, however, this power could be lost when abused. Following the dark trails blazed by Melkor, Sauron took upon the form of, and remained, the Dark Lord in the Second Age. And yet, even fallen Maiar retain their immortality. From all indications, when the physical body of a Maya is destroyed, their spirit wanders houseless, and their power diminished until they may take a physical form once more, or are restored by their respective Valar. So is Gandalf an angel, some kind of celestial, or is he a shapeshifter? I think in context that he's a celestial, and those specific celestials could assume different forms. However, in most of his existence, he took the shape of an old man. We didn't really see any evidence of his changing form until Gandalf the Grey died and was reincarnated as Gandalf the White. What does this mean in D&D terms? I guess it means he's some kind of Aasimar, since that would be the closest player character race option to an angel or a celestial being. Which kind of Aasimar? Well, by process of elimination, I think Fallen and Scourge are out, which means he's a protector Aasimar. That tracks, because the Maiar in the Third Age were sent to Middle-earth to counsel mortals. So, protector. Now, what can an Aasimar protector do? Well, the Aasimar have an ability score increase to charisma of +2. They get dark vision. They're blessed with a radiant soul, so their vision can easily cut through darkness. They get celestial radiance. They have resistance to necrotic damage and radiant damage, and they have healing hands. As an action, they can touch a creature and cause it to regain a number of hit points equal to their level. They have Light Bearer, which means they know the light cantrip. And they can speak Common and Celestial. A Protector Aasimar has a +1 Wisdom bonus. They have Radiant Soul, which allows them to unleash divine energy within themselves, causing their eyes to glimmer, and 2 luminous incorporeal wings to sprout from their back. Now, let's be honest, it's not a perfect fit mechanically. Gandalf doesn't have dark vision, for example, nor is his lifespan limited to 160 years like an Aasimar. But some of this stuff kind of fits. The healing hands is something we've seen Gandalf be able to do in the movies, as is the light cantrip. That's usually invoked on the gem in his staff. The Radiant Soul sort of fits as well. In lieu of sprouting wings and glowing, there have been a couple of occasions where Gandalf invoked a sort of divine presence, calming people or at the very least getting their attention. I suppose we could also say that when he fights certain powerful forces of evil, like the Balrog in Fellowship of the Ring, or Sauron in The Hobbit, he uses celestial resistance in a sort of protective globe of light around him. Although I'd argue that a protection from good and evil spell might more accurately describe how that magic manifests. But either way, this racial choice is pretty close to a match for Gandalf. Now, on to the larger topic, what can Gandalf do? In addition to healing people and using the light cantrip, we've seen Gandalf do other things. Some of these things might be in both the books and the movies, some might just be in one or the other. Speaking with and/or summoning animals. On several occasions, Gandalf basically invoked plot armor and saved the day by calling upon the giant eagles. We see this in The Hobbit and again in Lord of the Rings. So it would make sense that Gandalf would have Speak with Animals and possibly Conjure Animals, even though mechanically he doesn't really conjure them so much as ask for their help. The eagles don't magically appear when he does this. It takes time for them to get his message for help and then arrive. Protective magic. Gandalf has also had multiple encounters where he protects himself and others adjacent to him from harm. This could be the Sanctuary spell at lower levels or a Globe of Invulnerability at higher levels, but there's a huge difference in D&D terms. Sanctuary is a first level spell available to clerics only, while Globe of Invulnerability is a 6th level spell available to wizards and sorcerers. Divination and defensive magic. Gandalf has often sought insights into things, so we could easily say that he possesses the Detect Magic spell, which is widely available to many spellcasting classes. I think it would also make sense that he would have some other low-level divination magic, like Augury, which is available to clerics, or Identify, which is available to bards and wizards. One might think he has Comprehend Languages, but I think that his linguistic abilities would be more skill or knowledge-based than magical. Defensively, I'm pretty sure that Gandalf would have Dispel Magic. We've seen him cast spells that remove illusions from areas and counter other magical effects. Dispel Magic is only a level 3 spell that is widely available to many spellcasting classes. On a slightly higher level, we might also consider Counterspell. It's also 3rd level, but only available to sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards. Inspirational Acts. Gandalf has often inspired other characters to overcome fear, rise above a challenge, defend themselves, fight for a cause, or run. Run! Run! There are lots of ways to consider how this could work. Non-magically, it could just be his higher charisma and persuasion. Magically, it could be Bardic Inspiration, it could be a Bless spell, it could be Guidance, or even Heroism. But these options are very different. Bless is a 1st level spell available to clerics and paladins. Guidance is a cantrip available to clerics and druids. Heroism is a 1st level spell available to bards and paladins. Bardic Inspiration is a class feature only available to bards. Combat. Gandalf fights with a sword and or his staff. He doesn't wear armor or use shields. So those are things that Gandalf can do. Based on all these things, we have a tough choice. Do we say that Gandalf is a multi-class or a single class? As a multi-class, it would be easier to ensure that we have access to all of the abilities, features, and spells that we have seen Gandalf utilize. But mechanically, that might mean Gandalf isn't as powerful as he should be. Think about it. He soloed a Balrog. If we decide to try and build him as a single class, we need to make sure that whatever class he chooses will have access to the spells we have seen him use. Thus, we need to make a table. As you look at this table, you'll notice that I've spread out all of the different spells and abilities and features that I've talked about Gandalf possibly having access to. So we need to make a decision that is informed. And we need to look for overlap. Here's what we see. The Bard has access to most of the spells that Gandalf would use, and the ones that the Bard doesn't have access to might be redundant or replicated by another spell or class feature. Bards get Detect Magic, Dispel Magic, Heroism, Identify, See Invisibility, and Speak with Animals. That leaves out Augury, Bless, Conjure Animals, Counterspell, Globe of Invulnerability, Guidance, Protection from Evil, and Sanctuary. Let's say that the spells left out of Bards could be replicated through proficiencies, class features, or other spells. Or maybe we consider some feats that add magical abilities outside of the Bard class. If we look at Bard colleges, a couple options come to mind. The College of Valor was cited by CBR.com in an article written by Jennifer Meltzer as the likely choice for Gandalf. It sort of makes sense because it includes proficiency with martial weapons, like his sword, and combat inspiration, which allows the Bard to grant a Bardic Inspiration die to the recipient, allowing them to either use the die to add to damage on a successful attack or grant additional AC bonus in defense. That's cool, but I'm not sure that Gandalf is so focused on valor and battle in combat. My take on the single-class Bard build for Gandalf comes back to access to magic. For this, we would need to examine the College of Lore. This college choice grants bonus proficiencies with 3 additional skills at 3rd level, which adds a lot of depth to Gandalf's vast knowledge. At 3rd level, bards also get cutting words, something we've seen Gandalf do when putting someone in their place. Think Grima Wormtongue from The Two Towers or Alfred from Lake Town in The Hobbit.
On your oath.
Who's in charge here?
But the big kahuna of this college is at 6th level, when they get additional magical secrets. The bard gets 2 spells from any class. This allows Gandalf access to a few of the spells he doesn't get as a bard. Considering their importance, I'd say the best picks would be Counterspell and Conjure Animals, as both of them are 3rd level spells. So, Bard College of Lore it is. But wait, we're not finished. What background should Gandalf be? I think he should be a sage, because knowledge. What should he do at 4th level? Well, I'm saying that at 4th level, we go with Magic Initiate for a feat. This grants Gandalf the Lore Bard even more access to those spells he uses. In this case, I'm going to suggest the Cleric path, which would allow us to pick up 2 cantrips and 1 1st level spell. For cantrips, we clearly have to pick up Guidance and maybe Thaumaturgy, Sacred Flame, or Word of Radiance. For sheer roleplaying, Thaumaturgy is cool and it links up with those times that Gandalf invoked an imposing presence to awe or intimidate people with his booming voice. However, Word of Radiance might mechanically explain when Gandalf slams his staff down and emanates a powerful light, hitting adjacent opponents. Then again, Sacred Flame could also work in a lot of the movie things. Gandalf used magical light to drive away evil creatures in a few scenes. For the 1st level Cleric spell, I'm thinking Sanctuary is the choice. I have made a step-by-step build for this version of Gandalf as a College of Lore bard. If you're interested in seeing my complete build, you can go and become a patron on my Patreon. For only $5 a month, you will have access to all of the character builds that I've done, all of the music for gaming that I've created, and numerous other resources that are exclusive to my Patreon. I hope you've enjoyed this step into building Gandalf the Bard, and stay tuned for more Builds with Bill.
Well, hello, and welcome to Bill Allen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you are just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that, because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.